What's going on, guys? This is the Combat Source Podcast. Welcome back. Welcome back for myself. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you guys all for listening and tuning in. This has been gone for a little bit. We were on a little bit of a roll, did about 4 or 5 episodes, and then I think I took most of like June and July off. I'll say end of June, most of July so far, and then it's towards the end of July now. I don't know. I don't what the. I know it's not something. It's not the best habit to have when you're trying to build a brand. When you're trying to get the ball rolling on a new project, to take a long break like that. But I think I needed to regroup. I wanted to get some episodes out of my system. It had been a minute since I've turned the mic on, and it was approaching a year almost. And I think I took a break because I think I had to get it out of my system and then do some reassessment. Go on a little bit of vacation. I did Comic-Con, and then all the stuff around the house and life and just everything else, just enjoying all that, friends and family and you name it. A little bit of a holiday break. But I think I started getting the itch again to get back into it. Felt like the vacation was long enough, and wanted to start talking about some MMA, start talking about some fighting, start talking about some combat sports. And none other better outlet than here. Man, I don't know. I think just getting back to the reassessment of my goals for this. I'm taking it day by day, taking it week by week, month by month. I'm going to put out episodes as often as I can, as frequent as I can. And some days, some weeks, man, you're tired. A lot's going on. And you're just like, I don't know. I don't feel like it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to put out an episode. I don't feel like I have much to say. And some others will tell you that, and I think they're right, that just turn the mic on and say what's on your mind, and doesn't matter if it's, hard hitting or it's something that's going to, change the game and, open these doors for you. One episode is going to spark a whole thing for you. And I don't know. And you got some magical insight into the world of combat sports and that no one's ever heard. And I don't know. I think there's just so much out there. There's so much content. I mean, fighters have their own podcast now. It wasn't so much like that before. I mean, very few fighters actually had their own podcast when I first started in the game. And I've started doing this in 2015. Very few people in general in combat sports had a podcast. Now it seems like almost everybody has a podcast, and a lot of times a lot of people have multiple podcasts. And I think that's, and I listen to some of them, you know what I mean? I'm going to name you a few of them that I listen to on the regular that I really enjoy. I think, I gotten back into the MMA Hour with Era Hawani, which I know everybody listens to that. That's something that I like to listen to. He's got another one called The Ringer MMA, which I think is a fantastic show that they do weekly or bi-weekly or whatever. These are just, I'm because I'm a fan, I'm telling you guys this. Luke Thomas, always been a big fan of Luke Thomas. I think Morning Combat is a fantastic show. Have had the pleasure of having Luke Thomas on my old podcast, the MMA Complex podcast. I had him on the show early on as a guest. And I remember going into the episode, I was like, oh, man, I got Luke Thomas, man. He's I I better get on my dictionary, man, because this guy's intelligent. This guy's a fantastic speaker and has got a lot of insight into the game. And as a long, veteran of the MMA media, so I was definitely excited and intimidated and proud of having somebody like that on my show early on. Um, I don't think he didn't really answer the call to come back on before again. But I think at that time he had a lot of things going on, and his stock was rising already again. You know what I mean? So you know, it's hard because you do this, you know, and again, like I've said in other episodes, you have a lot to be thankful for, a lot of experiences to be thankful for. I've gone to experience a lot of things in this MMA media space that a lot of other people have not, um, and got to and have a lot of fun. Um, and I think, part of me wishes to that I can make it a permanent thing, like I could make it an official thing that it could pay the bills. And unfortunately, it doesn't. Not for me. You know what I mean? I think my skills in this space aren't as diversified as others. I'm not a writer. I'm a decent writer, but I'm not super confident in my writing to be like, oh, I'm just gonna put this shit out here and get paid for it, or you pay me for my writing. No, I just don't think, you know, not that I couldn't do it, but I'm not confident in others where that's like their safe space. You know what I mean? That's not my safe space. That's my uncomfortable space. You know what I mean? I think this is more of my safe space. So I think in the media game, you know, being an on-camera personality, being a good speaker, having good insight, having knowledge, having experience, and even having a diversified skill set. You know what I mean? And I don't think that necessarily works for everybody, like, or that pertains to everybody. Luke Thomas, Eric Hawani aren't necessarily like writers. You know what I mean? They're not writing articles. They're not putting shit out there. They're more commentary, on-camera personalities that people like. Um, I think Luke Thomas did some writing. He's more of a radio kind of host type of guy. I think I'm more of along the same lines of in terms of my comfort zone, more aligned with them than I would say some of the other colleagues. I would like to call them colleagues of mine in the MMA media space. Um, you know, a lot of other guys out there, notable MMA media people that are, on camera, audio personalities, and also have a writing skill set. And they're just like a jack of all trades. Those guys, I think, are killers, man. Those guys are good. I don't know if they necessarily make the most money, but like the other two. But I think I envy those guys that have a skill set that is more diverse, and they are able to generate different routes of income, you know. I don't know. I think that's where the motivation to do this again, why I wavered at times, why I had to reassess, why it took so long between projects, because I was looking at what I had going on in my life. I'm in my mid 30s. Um, I got a pretty decent career in the hotel industry. And just for transparency's sake, I'm a hotel manager. I make a decent amount of money. I would like to make more, and um, that's kind of like just and I enjoy what I do. I do. I enjoy the people I work with, and I enjoy what I do. Um, it gets tiring at times. I wouldn't say it's super taxing work, physically or mentally. It's just a daily grind like any other job. Management is a different level of stress and anxiety, but luckily I can say that I found a place and a position to where it's as minimal as possible in those areas of stress and anxiety. Um, yeah, I enjoy it all. So sorry, I'm gonna sneeze. So, um, where was I? Where was I? This is I really didn't have a lot to come on here and talk about. I felt like I didn't necessarily just want to come on here and talk about, you know, the fight game, all the, Khamzat and Diaz and all these other things. I just wanted to come on here and talk about things that I felt like talking about, things that were on my mind. And I think I needed some. I think you guys deserved some explanation as to what took so long in terms of me putting out another episode. Because I knew you guys are waiting. You guys are, couldn't wait for that next episode. There's sarcasm. That's sarcasm. Um, I think I think that was something that I needed to dwell on. You know, I put on. I created everything to start off with, put out episodes, and I was like, let me sit back, let me look at what I've done, let me think about it, let me reassess on how I want to approach it again, and let's get back into it. Do I like it? Do I enjoy it? Do I feel good about it? Is there things I want to change? Or do I want to take a different approach? Um, what do I want to do? What do I want to do with this thing? What do I want to accomplish? Um, I think the goals and what I want to accomplish have not changed. Um, is to build a brand. I don't necessarily want to be a social media personality. I don't want to be necessarily an MMA figure in the space of like an Ariel Helwani. I don't want to compete with an Ariel Helwani. It would be nice, but that guy deserves to be where he's at, and I don't think there's a lot of space for other people. You know what I mean? Where he's at, the level he's at. Um, I think there's a lot of people that are right there, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of promotion. It takes a lot of backing. It takes a lot of a good fan base and content. Um, I think what Ariel has done is amazing, and the brand that he's built, the trust that he's built, the level of like the fan base and the trust that he's built with that fan base to where they know they can go to him for great content. And he's redeveloped himself in different ways recently and been more outspoken. And I think a lot of people like that, love it, hate it. I think the same goes for like a Luke Thomas. I look at these guys and how they rebrand themselves, how they're a little bit more open now in their older age. And I want to say their older age. We're roughly around the same age. I'm in my mid to late 30s. He's there in their like early 40s. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. And I think that's why I'm doing a lot of reassessing in terms of how I want to approach this next venture into this space. Should I diversify? Do I need to diversify? Do I need to start practicing my writing? Should I just go into it and just write? Find a space where I can write, put out articles, and do it. And just fuck it. Just put it out there. If it's good, it's good. If I'll get better, hopefully. You know what I mean? Obviously, with practice comes perfection, I guess. Well, perfection requires practice. And I don't know. I think maybe I should. There's a couple of places like Substack, maybe getting back on the blogger again, doing that kind of stuff. But I don't know how many people actually use Blogger. You know what I mean? How many people actually like, there's those bullshit articles saying that, oh, you can make this amount of money blogging. I'm like, yeah, but I mean, who the fuck's making money blogging? And how the fuck are they making money blogging? How much work and how much fucking time do they really have to take out of their own personal lives to promote their blog? You know what I mean? A lot of these people are like on TikTok, Instagrams, Snapchat. They're on these apps that are just like they're in YouTube. YouTube obviously is still a big player, but what are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Like, I don't necessarily want to be. I would like to, but I don't know if I have the energy or the patience to really necessarily do that. I just want to be a working professional in this space. I'm gonna be able to write. I want to be able to commentate. I want to be able to commentate live. That would be awesome. I want to photograph fights. I want to do it all, honestly. I just love combat sports, and I would like to do it all. I would like to go to an event. I would like to be a photographer from time to time. I would like to go to an event. I would like to interview. I would like to do both in one night. I could do it all, and I know I could do it all. I could be a photographer. I could run social media, and I can interview. I've done it. The only thing I haven't done is writing, but I've done it. I've interviewed. I've organized interviews. I've set up interviews. I've done on the spot, on the fly, in-person interviews. I've done it all. I think, but looking back, you're like, what am I doing wrong? Why am I not making the money? And then why is it not equaling out with the amount of work I'm putting in? You get what I'm saying? That's where I'm at right now. That's my struggle, is how can I put in the work that I know it requires, and especially the amount of work and timing and scheduling that it's going to take to accomplish what even I was doing before with the way my life is now. I have a child. I have a 3-year-old. I have another one on the way. And life's going to get very busy. Things are going to get very expensive. How can I accomplish these goals at this time in my life? Is it possible? Is it doable? Do I have the energy to do it? I don't know. We'll see. Is that too much to ask? Is that too much to put on myself? I think, I've been in this game, and I will honestly say it. I've been in this game for, let's say legitly where I've been, podcasting as a media member since 2015. Have I been working to accomplish these goals? How long have I been working in accomplishing goals? Since 2010. Like where I've been, school, college, just networking, trying to network. I hit the ground running around 24 years old, where I was like, I know what I want to do. I know what my passion is. I know what I love. I know what I'm interested in. I want to do this. I'm going to hit the ground running. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do in terms of the space of combat sports, but I knew I wanted to be involved in combat sports. That's what I wanted. And so I said, fuck it. I'm going to head towards, I was thinking camera guy or, some type of public relations or whatever. So I ended up going the public relations route. Even in community college, I was going to UFC events and media events, weigh-ins. I was networking with Fox execs. I was getting business cards. I was trying to get internships. I was getting turned down left and right. You know, I was getting turned down left and right. I think people got tired of me, hitting them up or seeing them at events, or, I'm talking about Eric Shanks, and I'm talking about top level executives. Dan Bell. I mean, there were guys. I don't even know if they're still in the company anymore. I haven't researched them, but I haven't spoken to them in quite a while. But this was like 24, 25-year-old me, going to these events specifically to obviously enjoy myself, but network. And I was just I was just getting back into community college and taking it seriously. Loading the classes up, trying to get out of there, trying to transfer out, go to a university. And I kept getting told, call me back when you get into university. Call me back when you get into university. And once I get to university, I got nothing for you, or they just ghost you. And so luckily, I get the internship with the UFC. I go over there, work my ass off. Everybody, all the other interns in the group were fantastic people. It just seemed like they were enjoying themselves a lot more than I was. I was, I had two different departments. Mine was different. I had two different departments that I needed to separate my work in. It was the Fight Pass and the website, UFC.com. So I was split into two. I was an internship part-time for both. And I think I was I was welcomed by a few, and I wouldn't say shunned, but just looked at as just an intern by most. You get what I'm saying? And I don't know if they really realized like that I really wanted to be there. This is what I really wanted. I was exactly where I wanted to be. And it didn't turn out that way. I ended up coming back home, and then I started as a media member. I said, fuck it. I want to make my own way. If I can't get in the company, which is based in Las Vegas, which is annoying, I'm going to make my way out here and try something. And even while I was doing the whole media member thing, oh, that was my phone. Apologies. Even when I was doing the whole media member thing, I was still networking with the PR guys and, executives, and telling them, hey, if you're looking to, if you got any openings on the team, or if you got openings within the company, keep me in mind. You know what I mean? I'm for sale. I'm for sale, man. Like the goal was to find something legitimate within the sport. You know what I mean? Like find myself a space where I can make legitimate money and support myself and my family and do what I loved and be in the space that I love. And, it didn't work out that way. I made a lot of friends, acquaintances, people that I could say hi to, give hugs to, give handshakes to. Nobody that's coming over for Thanksgiving, for sure. And that's the thing, is that like, as much as you see a lot of these people from event to event to event, they're cool, but they're so fixated on the grind, and I get it, that it's hard for them to open up. It's hard for them to look at others and be like, I can be friends with you. You know what I mean? I think everybody's somewhat competitive to where they can't be 100% open to each other. And that's a different topic for a different story. That's a different story for a different day. But, and I think looking at that and seeing where, and I put in a lot of work, I'm telling you right now. Me and my partner, James, and all that, we put in a lot of work. Me specifically, and this is no knock on him, I just found it, I loved it. I was a perfectionist, and I enjoyed that aspect to it, and I had a knack for it, and that was the technological side of it. That was the particulars of everything, the design, the editing, the video, the audio, the promotion, you name it, the branding, the organizing, the credentials, from the credentials to setting up interviews, looking at time zones, setting up the Zooms. You name it, fixing the audio issues, fixing the video issues. Like that was my level of my area of expertise, and that was my that was my area of interest. I found it interesting and problem solve, and I had to learn on the fly, and I had to learn from my mistakes, and I learned through working, through experience. I didn't know a lot of what I had to know ahead of time. I just knew what I wanted to accomplish, and I looked for the ways to fix it, to make it happen. And I did a lot of research and a lot of, I'm talking about in all areas, from audio, video, technical problems, equipment issues, to promotion opportunities, options, scheduling with fighters, and contacting PR guys and managers, and getting on email lists and mailing lists, and just all that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Knowing what fighters, what kind of questions and to ask, and what they're willing to answer, and what they're used to answering, and just what after a while, you can phone it in. You can phone in a good interview. The longer you do it, you can phone in a good interview. There's certain questions you already know. I can just ask these questions, these basic ass questions, and get good answers, and get a good audio video thing out of it. You know what I'm saying? I've gotten a lot of people, but it's what I'm saying, and what I'm getting to is the amount of work, especially at the height of what I was doing, was a lot, man. And this is pre-children, this is pre-marriage. My wife was, my fiance or my girlfriend and all that, but this was pre all that. So it's a different ball game now. And I think getting back into it, I had to really think about it. Do I really want to do this? You know what I mean? Do I really want to accomplish it? What am I going to accomplish? What do I want to accomplish? How am I going to go about it? Because things are different now. The world is different now. COVID and events and all this other shit. It's not the same as it was before. So, like travel, and I'm busy, man. I'm busy. I work 5 days a week, and I got a toddler at home, you know what I'm saying? And I got a mortgage and all this other shit. So, the world is different. My world is different. The world in general is different. There's fucking monkeypox out there and all this other shit. So I think I put out the initial first few episodes, sat back and digested everything, really looked at it, and I don't even know what I really want to accomplish with this. I know what I want to accomplish. Actually, I know what I want to accomplish. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish it. I'm still working that out. But I think this week, I was just like, you know what? I feel like putting out an episode. I want to put out an episode. I want to just get back into it, put out another set of episodes, and who knows? I don't know. I don't know. See where I'm at. See how I feel. You know what I mean? Do I want to take another month off? No. Do I want to do that to you guys? No. Actually, I want to put more episodes out a week. I want to fucking bust my ass, man. But I got to be realistic. Got to look at it. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. I'm not old, but I got a lot of shit going on. So it's like, what am I going to do? How am I going to accomplish this? How can I do this? What can I do different that I did, that I didn't do last time? What can I do? I don't necessarily want to spend a ton of money and get nowhere. I did a little bit of that. It's nice to have a partner to split some of that with, but I don't want to spend a ton. I didn't really spend a ton, but I don't, it was a decent amount. but I don't want to necessarily, I don't want to waste my time. You know what I'm saying? There's things I want to accomplish. And I think I'm approaching that 40 mark, in a few years. And, you know, I want to see where I'm at. You know, I want to see what I can do again. I have another crack at it. I'm going to see, I'm going to take it day by day, man. I'm going to take it day by day. And I just wanted to come on here and I think talk about where I was at in my headspace. What went through my mind while I was out, for this past month. Why, I took so long to put on an episode. And I think I just wanted to regather, regroup, reassess, and then see what I wanted to do. See if I felt like doing it again. And I think I do. Man. I do. I think right now, I think it's diversifying. Ways to monetize, ways to diversify. Yeah. If I'm going to be a photographer from time to time, I want to get good at it. I want to practice at it. I want to, when I get credentialed, I want to take it seriously, like I always did, but I want to make sure I do it right. And I want to, I just like to make content, man. I don't necessarily need to be in front of the camera, but I like to make content. You know what I mean? I have so many thoughts and ideas and goals. You know what I mean? Maybe I should just write. Maybe I should be a photographer. Go that route. Maybe I should just, try to get a job as a camera guy, but I don't necessarily have the equipment or the resume to necessarily say I'm a legitimate videographer. You know what I'm saying? You sit back and you look at the fight game, and if you really pay attention to it and you're in it and you're involved in it, and you see that there's not a lot of money to go around when the fighters aren't making that much money. The executives are, not making a ton of money. The promoters, the media members. It's a grind, man. Nobody's living in silk sheets, man. Not that many people I can see are living in silk sheets. Not even big name fighters are living in silk sheets. You know what I'm saying? So where do you make your bones at? Where's the bag? That's what I want to know. Where's the bag? Is it Dana? There's not that many people can be. A lot of people have tried to be Dana. A lot of people try to be Ariel. A lot of people try to be, Dave Meltzer or Luke Thomas, or Esther Lynn. You know what I'm saying? I just know there's not that many people living in silk sheets, and I can see that. People that work for these companies, PR guys, the biggest companies, UFC, Bellator, Glory, they're not living in silk sheets. These guys are the gatekeepers, of the company. Like, they have direct contact with the heads of the companies, Scott Coker, Dana White. They are they have direct contact with the fighters. They let you know if you can speak to these fighters half the time. They give you the green light to attend these events. These guys are not necessarily living in silk sheets. You know what I'm saying? Some of them have their own companies. And even then, they're not living in silk sheets. Even then, I tell them what I do on the side. I tell them that some of them have seen me in action doing what I do in the hotel business. And I think that when they see me doing what I do and they know what I do, I think a lot of them they're envious of that, stability. They're envious of that income that I'm making, a steady, decent income. They're looking at me like I got some special gig, that I'm able to dabble in both worlds. That I'm able to support myself financially and also do what they do in a way. And it's like, I'm like, dude, I would totally switch what I'm doing to be where you're at. You know what I'm saying? And I just kept getting told multiple times, man, hey, like, there's not a lot here, man. I could either they tell me that there's not a lot of opportunity, there's a lot of money, or I can see it in their eyes. I can see it in just what I can see, that it's a grind, man. And again, they're not living it. There's very few people in the fight game that are living in silk sheets. I could tell you that right now. And that's why I don't feel entirely bad about what I was able to accomplish and the amount of work I put in. And the fact that monetarily, like, financially, I don't have a lot to show for it. Just from experience, though, I do. And I don't feel entirely like it was a waste of time. I don't at all, actually. I think I could have done better. I'm curious as to what I could have done to make it more financially viable for myself and accomplish those financial goals, But I also look at the landscape of the business in all areas and can see that there's not a lot of money out there. Those big name, people that you see, personalities. I'm talking about in all levels, from the promoters to the managers to the fighters to the referees to the cutmen to the judges to some of the the commission people to the media members to the PR people to the event staff. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of people out there working and living and sleeping in silk sheets. And this is just I think this is I wanted to come on here and talk about and give some insight into what I see. It's not a total loss. It's not a total waste of time getting into this game. If you're interested in getting into this game, there's a lot of things that have to go right for you to be super successful. Number one, you have to be hardworking. You have to be, have some creativity, have some talent, have some skill, the ability to articulate your thoughts and to communicate, the ability to write, and to put your words to paper. If you want to go be on camera, you got to be, you have to have a look, you have to have a personality, you have to have connections, you have to, work really hard, and you have to be able to network, and you have to, you have to have people like you, you have to be liked, and, you have to have a lot of things go right for you. You know what I'm saying? You look at the schmo. I don't know much about the schmo. I remember when he first burst on the scene, I thought it was like, here's this dude with a weird ass personality. He's probably going to make a name for himself. He's probably going to find a space. He's actually been able to do that. He has a successful podcast. He's a on-air personality. He doesn't do a whole lot other than communicate his thoughts and ideas about the fight game and talk to fighters. And he's got this whole persona of, this whole character that he created. And it's something I'm not interested in doing. It's something that I probably could do, but rather not do. I think it takes a level of charisma and talent and the balls to do something like what he does. and and all the power to him. I don't hate on the schmo. I wouldn't necessarily feel like I don't listen to him. I don't really watch his show. I don't really, digest what he has to offer. Um, I respect the hustle. I respect where he's gotten, because I remember when he first burst onto the scene. I've seen him at events when he was first starting, and I thought that seemed pretty interesting. But there's a lot of people in the space that I see, and they bust their ass, man. They work really hard. Like the Schmo, they work really hard, and they get to where they're at. You know what I'm saying? The Schmo built a brand. He put himself out there. He's a YouTube guy. He's an Instagram guy. He's a viral guy. You know what I'm saying? He likes to be on camera. He created a whole character. He's not that character. You know what I mean? That's a character, and like a pro wrestler in a lot of ways. I'm not that guy. I've never been that guy. I don't really care to be that guy. I don't have. A lot of times I go on camera or I go on video and I feel like I do okay. I feel like I do all right. I think I do pretty well, but I don't necessarily feel like I jump off the screen. I don't feel like I necessarily, I'm not like the Schmo to where it's like, what the fuck is this guy? Or like, I'm like, I feel like just me, man. I don't really have it in me to not be just me, whatever that's worth. You know what I'm saying? So I think if you're looking to get into this space, I would recommend to diversify your skills and your talents as much as you can. Be open to different things. Work hard. Hustle. Network. Put the work in. Put the time in. Get familiar with video equipment, audio, visual, basic editing at the very least, iMovie type stuff. Be familiarized with all that kind of stuff. Do your research. Try to maximize what you're trying to do with as little much money as you can. Do what you need to do. Do what you need to build a brand as best as you can. Get credentialed, and if you do get credentialed, don't waste anybody's freaking time. I've seen it time and time again where people get credentialed and they have no business being there. They have no business being there. They got some shit little nothing podcast. They look like shit when they get there. They don't know how to answer questions, or they have one question to ask and they do that one question. Like, what are you going to eat after your fight? And they try to get some bullshit question, and they look like shit. And, I don't know what they were even doing there in the first place. And it makes you feel like what the fuck am I doing? If these people could fucking be here and ask the questions, I'm putting a lot of work in, man. I better get something out of this shit, because if I get to sit in the same row as these people who fucking look like they rolled out of bed, and I don't, that's a difference. That's another story in terms of who gets credentialed and whatnot. It's not super difficult to get credentialed in the lower levels, lower promotions, the lesser known promotions. It's not super difficult to get credentialed. But there's a level of respect that you have to have when you get credentialed. And so there's a work, there's etiquette, try to diversify your skills, work on your social media game, work on your YouTube game, work on your, learn the equipment, learn audio, video, learn social media, learn promotion, maybe practice your writing, practice your photography, get some good equipment, some decent equipment, and grind, man. Look at getting credentialed, get a website, look at ways to, I recommend Wix, or I recommend Podbean, if you're just starting out. I recommend Anchor if you're not looking to spend much money. Podbean, you get a little website included with your thing, your audio, platform, for low cost. You get a basic little website that you can promote. You could put that on your credential applications, and there's a way to, there's that's a different thing. Credential applications. They're gonna ask, you go on a website, you go on the promoters thing. It's a press. It'll be for you look for credentials. You have an application to fill out, name, publisher, and organization, and you just put what you need to put on there. Put what you feel makes yourself look as legitimate as possible and be as professional as possible. Helps to have some type of website or some type of web address to give them. Social media, work on the logo, work on a brand, and the best way to hit up fighters, I would say, if you can't make it to an event in your area or outside of your area, which I recommend you try your best to do, especially if you get credentialed, show up. Definitely, if you're gonna put the time in to ask for a credential and that you get granted that credential, make sure you show up. Don't flake. And really, let me see what else. Yeah, don't fucking flake. That's a big thing. And if you can't make it for whatever reason, do the respectable thing and say you can't. 9 times out of 10 they'll probably give you a second chance. So just be respectful. And just and if you're gonna hit up fighters, you can hit them up on social media, man. Just DM them. Have a respectable, professional message to send them. Give them some contact information. Tell them what you really want to get out of them. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes of their time. However long that you're looking for an interview. Tell them what kind of an interview, Zoom, audio, leave it open to them, and send that message out to fighters that you want to talk to. You could send it to big name fighters. You could send it to up and coming fighters. You could send it to, I recommend following, promotional social media of different promotions, checking out their fight card in advance and hitting up those fighters in advance. You don't really want to do it the week of unless you're credentialed. You want to do it at least the week before to talk to some of these fighters, because most of the time they're just not in the mood to, you don't want to disrupt their fight week preparation. So I would say, hit them up on DMs, send out a professional message, and it's a numbers game. You're going to get some, you're not going to get most, you know what I mean? But might get a couple of fighters, set up the Zoom, have that open communication with them, where it's you're on top of it. You have a Zoom account, you have a fucking whatever else is out there, and you got all your ducks in order before the interview. You have your questions in line. You have kind of the general idea of what you want the interview to be, and it's practice. The more you interview, the better you'll get at it. And I'd say practice before you do it. You know what I'm saying? Test out your equipment. Practice the Zooms. Practice recording the Zooms. Practice, interviewing. Throwing out those questions, even if it's just to yourself. How would you answer it? Think about in your mind, come up with the scenarios in terms of how they would respond to your questions. And always be mindful of the fact that they might not be that receptive to any of your questions. They might just be like, give you one word answers, and you got to be able to respond and inclined to those types of interviews, because you'll get fighters that will just give you short one word answers, and you got to be able to have backup questions to your backup questions. You know what I'm saying? You have fighters that there's a language barrier. So English isn't their first language. And unless you speak multiple languages, you're probably going to run into this issue. Ask them if they're comfortable having an interview in English. Ask them if they can get an interpreter to join you in the interview. Do stuff like that. Prepare. Be professional. Think about as many possibilities as you can, and expect shit to go wrong. You know what I mean? Expect it to go wrong. But though, if you put in the work, you can avoid a lot of that. You can avoid a lot of it from going wrong. You can avoid a lot of the mistakes. Learn from the mistakes. Be okay with the mistakes, but learn from them. If your audio's fucked up and you go back and you check the recording and you never actually recorded the fucking episode, bite your lip, just take that L, man, and do better next time. Be mindful of what you did wrong and do it better the next time. That's my advice, man. There's a fight card this weekend. I'm going to try to get another episode out. I can't necessarily guarantee it. I don't really want to do that to you guys. Let's get into some fight talk. That's my whole spiel on being a media member, where I'm at in this headspace and all that kind of shit. Where I'm at in this thought process of what I want to do here. But I do want to give you some fight talk. This isn't a total thing. Quick note. This is going to be a weekly podcast again. Multiple episodes a week if I possibly can. It's going to be like a Tuesday, Wednesday type of thing. Look out for the episodes. And yeah, man. Yeah, this is what I got. So we got a fight card this weekend. You have, I think, 278, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 277. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's 277. Is that this weekend? Yes. UFC 277, I believe, is this weekend. And it is Amanda Nunes and Juliana Pena. It's going to be a fantastic fight. Curious to see how Amanda does this time around. I think, again, with her, just my opinion, I think life is changing, and I think she's trying to change with it. And I think after that loss, it was a wake-up call. You need to figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it, and how you want to proceed, if you want to proceed. Because the game is catching up to you. And it's you got to have that fire. If you don't have that fire, then, hey, call it a day. No one's going to fault you for it. You're in your mid-30s. You have a family now. You made a lot of money, according to Dana White. And, think about it. I think this fight are you doing this fight just for your legacy? If it's for your legacy, that's good enough. Fuck it. Go in there. Fuck her up. Get the title back. Retire. Go ahead. Right off into the sunset. If you're doing it just because you're forcing yourself to think that it's something you should be doing, a lot of people will say, yeah, she needs to do it anyway. Hey, I don't know. That's up to you. You don't need it. I don't think she needs to do it. She could take that loss and be like, you know what? I just don't love it anymore. I'm out. I think Cerrone should have done that a long time ago. I didn't think he should have taken so long to do it. I know he wanted to fight out his contract, or at least do as many fights as he possibly could, but it took a lot out of him, those fights. You have Nate Diaz and Khamzat, another guy who's fighting out his contract. Nate Diaz, I think it's going to be a tough fight for Nate. I think there's ways to win if he can avoid a lot of dangerous positions and being stuck in certain positions with Khamzat, being overwhelmed by Khamzat's offense. If he could withstand a lot of the punishment, he can take it to the later rounds and put it on him, man. Take him to those 4th and 5th rounds and see what Khamzat's got. You know what I mean? I think it's not, especially after that last fight, I think people saw that if Khamzat is not disciplined, he is vulnerable. And like he was, even an undisciplined Khamzat, is still a killer. You know what I'm saying? It's still a killer. He's still tough to deal with. So, Khamzat it was awakening. That last fight was a big awakening for Khamzat. And, this is going to be a tough fight for Nate. It's going to be interesting. I'm all for it. It is what it is. This is the fight that they wanted to give him for the longest. And you know what? Fuck it. It's happening. We'll see what happens. I don't think he should go fight Jake Paul. I don't want to see Jake Paul get a win over Nate Diaz. I just don't want that to happen. But I know it's probably going to happen if they don't re-sign him. And I doubt it at this point. If they re-sign Nate Diaz, I really doubt it. So we'll see what happens in September, I believe. This is a big, this is a big test for Khamzat. He cannot lose this fight. He's got to go in there and actually dominate this fight. This is a big test for him too. This is a big, for the bosses, for the higher ups. You need to do us good. If you don't, it's not gonna be good for Khamzat going after this. They're gonna really make his life miserable if he doesn't fucking go in here and really put a whooping on Nate. I know Dana White had his looking for a fight or whatever the fuck tonight. It's Tuesday evening, so he had that going on. I don't really watch that too much. Not looking for a fight, but it's the Dana White's Contender Series. I know he had a press conference, which I got to watch later on, but I did see his comments on the money, the $250K that he gave to the Nelk boys. I don't think he should necessarily filmed it. I think there was, in the presentation of it, everything was it just looked bad. I don't give a fuck if it's his money. With the kind of negative press that's going around about fighter pay, to do something like that on camera in the way he did it, to who he did it for, and the reasons for it, it's just like $250K. Give it to the people that are working for you. Give it to the people that are fighting for you, man. You give it to these kids, that are big YouTubers and social media kids, fuck it. If they've done a lot for you in terms of making you money and you want to kick them down some, fuck it, kick them down some. But don't do it fucking like the way you did it. It's just distasteful, especially in this climate right now. But, how is he fucking surprised that it was going to get that kind of backlash? You should have expected that kind of backlash. And that's the kind of arrogance that he has. And unfortunately for fighters, this is kind of shit that you got to deal with. If you're not going to unionize, if you're not going to band together, this is the kind of shit that you got to deal with. It is what it is. This is what you asked for. You guys are all out for yourselves. Well, fuck it. Dana White is too. So I don't really fault him too much. It's his money. And that's kind of the attitude he had about it. I suggest you guys go check out his press conference, at his little scrum that he had afterwards, after tonight's event. Again, you guys are listening to this. It's Tuesday, July 26th. It's a Tuesday evening here in Los Angeles, man. And the card this weekend, I'm not really going to break it down for you right now. If I can get another episode out to break it down, I will. Suggest you guys go check that out. I will do a follow-up next week, guaranteed, about the event this weekend. It's UFC 277. It's got some good fights on there. You have Anthony Smith against Ankalaev. You have Amanda Nunes. You have, I think, Brandon Moreno against Kai Kara-France. So you got some interesting fights on there. It's not the greatest card, but you got a good amount of fights that are very interesting that I don't mind seeing. So stay tuned for next week's episode. I will pull out one for you guys. Thank you guys for listening to me rant, and hopefully maybe I give you guys some insight into a few things. So make sure you like, subscribe to the show on all podcast platforms. Leave comments if you can. Subscribe on social media at The Combat Source. And see you guys all next week. Love you guys. Bye.